Good morning, listeners. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the world. It's a wonderful day. It's good to be alive. Bright and sunny here in Toronto. I hope it's wherever you are. If it's nighttime, you're having a great day, and it's not raining or snowing anywhere else in the world.
Sure. Good morning, Ingle, for sure. It's a beautiful day outside here, and I know the Caribbean is beautiful. Everywhere is beautiful right now, although some places they say it's a little hotter than it should be in Europe. But, let's celebrate life, let's celebrate what we have, and it's gorgeous outside.
It is gorgeous. And I was just watching the news, Roger, and they're asking people over the age of 60 and with health issues in some parts of India to stay inside because
Yes,
the
yeah, it's too hot.
temperature
It's
is
too hot.
over, it's 42.5 or something like that in some places.
Yeah, and I think some people have already died there.
Yes,
That's
correct.
like over
Sad.
30 people, I think so.
Yeah,
It's really hot there. It's good to be warm, but not hot like that.
it is so true. As usual, Roger, we're going to take you through an hour. It's the England Rogers Sports Hour on Love Bay Afrobeats Music Talk Radio, and there's a lot to cover. We have some results as to the winners in the basketball, and we tell you who won the hockey. Um, Formula One in Montreal this weekend, so we'll talk a bit
Yes.
about that. The tennis, we've got a new champion at the French Open, and he's not just a champion, the most wins by a male, and
Yes.
I'm not sure if you've been watching the U.S. Open golf, but wow, what a tough course.
It seems to be very tough, but very interesting because a lot of guys have a good shot to take it all the way
Yeah, and some big names out too. I was watching, and
early. Yeah. Some,
Justin Thomas. I mean, I felt like okay, it's familiar territory for me. He was shooting at 81, and he's a pro. So I said,
it sounds
you
like you could
know,
hang out with him and play a game because
yeah,
you're close. You're close enough.
yeah. So I said, okay, well, we can play together. Yeah, but
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
it's tough. That game of golf, I mean, it's the greatest level. I don't know if you ever listened to Michael Jordan's interview with Steph Curry why he got into golf. And yeah, he talked about his competitive juices, and he
Yeah,
talks about the fact that, one day it can be so good, the next day.
I
So it's
know.
a challenge. Yeah.
It is a huge challenge. I mean, I think I've played. I'm not a good golfer at all, so I barely break 100. But a couple times I did, and I can't explain how I did it because the next time I'm like 110. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't
But it,
know what the formula is, but I guess it's just lots of playing. You get the consistency from practice, and you can't just get up and play once or twice a week. You gotta have to make it more than that.
yeah, it's like yesterday I played and I don't know what happened. It's like on the front nine, I shot a 52, and something is wrong. But then the back nine, I shot 42. So
There you go.
it's
There you
like,
go.
what's
You made it
happening?
back up.
Yeah, just yeah. And but when you look at the leaderboard for the U.S. Open,
Yeah.
I didn't expect to see Ricky Fowler at the top, but
Top. No. No.
him and Xander Schauffele on the first day. They had a record 62.
Yeah. Yeah.
First time it has ever been done in the Open.
I saw that. I saw
Yeah,
that. I
so
was like, wow, this is going to be an interesting tournament for sure.
it
But
is.
then it's tight. It's tight. You
It's
know.
tight for sure. And Dustin Johnson, I mean, incredible. He's at -6, and he shot a eight, and he had eight shots on one hole, so
I know.
a triple bogey on one hole.
He played like a champion the other holes, but yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. He's one with a shot to take it all. I think he's a little back, but not too far back, so competitive. So let's see if he can find his way up. But McIlroy's right there too,
McIlroy's right there. Yeah.
and he's
Um,
not in a good mood.
no,
He's still
he's
pissed
not
off
talk. He's
with
not talking.
with live golf. so
Yeah.
so maybe he's going to prove a point and take this tournament. Let's see.
Phil Mickelson was doing a lot of talking from the live end, but he's went quiet, and he is out as
He
well.
didn't make the cut.
He didn't make the cut.
So yeah,
So yeah,
sometimes
so some
gotta be
interesting
quiet.
golf for all the
Maybe
golf fans, and the course gonna. I think it's only gonna get harder. The course, so
yes, yes.
yeah,
It's a difficult course, which makes it competitive, right? The best man wins.
yeah, the best man wins for sure. So we'll keep an eye on the golf and see what happens, and update you as we go along. Next week we'll tell you who was the winner.
Yeah.
And
But a little more in golf.
mhm.
Last weekend we saw British Columbia's golfer Nick Taylor, the
Oh
first
wow,
Canadian to win the RBC
yeah,
Canadian Open since 1954. And you
and
know what? That 70-foot eagle putt, I tell you, man, that was just one for the ages. And yeah, he won in a playoff. So kudos to him as he beats Tommy Fleetwood.
I
But
didn't think he would have a chance.
no, you
Well,
know
no,
what?
because I kind of figured that the final hole was a par five, and I thought everybody was birdieing it.
Yeah, yeah. Like, wow, he comes up with an
Yeah,
eagle. Well,
yeah,
kudos to him. Congrats to him. I mean, it's a big deal in Canada because no one has done that since 1954, so it's a very long time. But also, I think one of the fun, well, it wasn't really fun, but it was funny, where
funny.
Adam Hadwin, he's from
Yes.
Abbotsford, BC. He tied for 12th in the tournament, so he did well.
Mhm.
But he was so excited for Nick Taylor that he grabbed a bottle of champagne and ran out there to celebrate with him. And oh boy, he got tackled. I said he got tackled. And he was
Yeah,
brought down to the ground by a security guard who didn't know who he was. So
could
it
you
was
imagine that?
it was funny watching him.
It was funny,
Yeah.
yeah.
But he apologized at the end to say he was doing something that is wrong. But
Yeah, and they couldn't give this the guy the wrong because
no,
he had already changed into his jeans and stuff, so
exactly.
he
He
looked
was.
like an ordinary person.
I
Yeah,
know. How do not to apologize? But it was
yeah,
crazy. I mean, they took him down.
they
It was
took him
funny
down. Yeah,
watching it. They really took him down.
yeah,
So
the security really took. I looked at it and and actually he said he's going to use it as his screenshot. So, so
wow,
but he's playing in the open now. So
he's there. Let's see how he does.
yeah.
Man, oh man,
It
oh man.
was fun, yeah, but it was good to see a Canadian win. And
Oh,
the
yeah,
other thing is to see the support because,
yes,
they
yes.
all there to rallied. All the Canadians came back.
Supported him.
Some
Yeah,
of them
yeah.
had already left and they came back. And
Back,
then
yeah.
Mike Weir, I think he left and he drove
Came
back to the
back.
crowd. Yeah,
There you go. And you know what? He celebrated big time. You could see he was
big
truly
time.
happy for Nick. So it was
Yeah,
amazing to see the support and the camaraderie there from the Canadians. So a
yeah.
fascinating tournament to see a Canadian win it again. So that was really, really cool to see. One last thing before we leave the golf is
Mhm.
the U.S. Justice Department, Ingle.
Yeah,
They're looking into that the merger here is violating federal antitrust statutes.
yes, that's what they're saying. And because they want to know everything about the
I
money and
know.
everything.
So, as you said last week, nobody knows anything.
Yep, yeah.
No, these guys are coming after them. They're going to have to start talking. But they already came out and said they're going to file a motion to dismiss the antitrust lawsuit. So
Hmm.
it's going to be interesting to see who's going to win this one. I've never seen the Justice Department lose. So let's
That's
see
true.
if the Saudis have enough money to buy them out. But let's see. This is going to be interesting.
The other interesting thing is that Jay Monahan, the CEO, he took time off because he said he's got a personal medical issue he's dealing with. So he's handed over leadership to two other persons at the moment. So they're two co-CEOs right now,
I know.
and he took some time. And in the questioning leading up to the USGA, and they asked them to quite where did they go wrong because there are no black players in this US Open. And they
Uh,
thought after Tiger that you will see a bunch
yeah.
of black people playing. So they were trying to figure out where did it all go wrong.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a
so
good investigation to see how that
it
comes
is
out.
good to see how that comes up for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Interesting.
It is so some interesting times in golf, but we want to get closer to home and a little bit of a embarrassment at the Formula One for the Montreal. The CTVs went off and they
I
had
noticed. I
CCTVs.
noticed. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah, and they had to stop the practice.
They did. They did.
Yeah,
It's yeah. Things do happen, but that's not something that should have happened. Is the best way to
no,
put
it's
it.
not something that should have happened for sure.
But it's interesting to see when practice that actually went on. That Mercedes went 1-2. Lewis
Yes,
Hamilton, George
yeah,
Russell 1-2. So
yeah, and I'm wondering, does he like the kind of? He's been six poles in Canada.
yeah, yeah,
That's
he's
not
won a
one
lot
thing.
here. A lot of people are.
Hmm.
I think if he wins this time, he's gonna set a record for the most wins. So
Hmm.
he's right there. He loves performing here. So let's see if he can do it. This is
Yeah,
probably his track, but I mean, so far he's doing well. But the Red Bull guys always show up, and after they show up, you know what happens. So
yeah,
we will see. But interesting at least to see so far. Mercedes won too.
yeah. So today is the qualifying, so we'll see
Yeah,
how that goes. But I'm
yeah.
hoping Lewis will get a pole, and it'd be great if they get one, two on the pole.
It would be awesome to see a
Yeah,
change in the regular programming. So,
yeah.
because right now it's just one man, Max on top all the
Just
time.
Max on top. And Max came out this week and said if he was to win this year, he would prefer to see Fernando Alonso win it.
Alonso, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
of course, he's not
So
gonna go for Lewis.
no, never.
Well, we'll see.
So yeah, we'll keep an eye on the Formula One, Roger. And
Yeah, for sure. But Hamilton, I think the principal over there at Mercedes is saying, you know what? It's 6 months to run on his $40 million season deal, so that's a lot of money he makes. Don't joke
hmm
around; he makes a lot of money.
he makes a lot. Yeah.
But he's saying it's gonna happen soon, and we're
Mm.
talking days, not weeks. So they're looking to sign him back. It sounds like so.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see how much he's gonna get and what it's gonna look like. But from what I'm hearing and from what I'm seeing, he's gonna be definitely back with Mercedes right after this.
Yeah. He's definitely going to be back with Mercedes, and I hope he stays. And when they get a better car and they can win
Win again,
next
yeah.
again, yeah. So give him that record. And there's a court case where they're trying to take that one from him, right?
I
So,
know that was just silly, but anyway, they can keep
yeah,
trying. Let them try.
exactly.
Let
We
them
can
try.
keep trying. Yeah, and tennis, as we started, we mentioned briefly at the top, Djokovic, now French Open champ, now the most wins by a male,
I know.
23. So,
You know
yeah,
what? Kudos to him. I mean, I expected him to win. So I'm not surprised. I'm happy for him. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens next. There's some people out there that say when these champions get to the age 36 to 37, they never win another slam. So
that's what they say. Yeah,
that's what they say. So you know what? Nadal, Roger Federer, they all stopped at this age. So it to me, Novak seems to be in better shape than they are because
hmm
he has some injuries. But when you watch it, I watched the game. I think he was just on fire.
he was on fire.
He
Yeah.
was on fire at 36. So I don't know. I think he has more in him. But you agree with that? That he's too old to win more
No, I think he has more in him, and it's just around the corner, the other champ majors. So it's this year. So if
this
you're
year.
talking about another year, maybe, but we've only had the one, the second, sorry, two for the year. So I think
Yeah,
he's hungry still. He wants to
very
get
hungry.
to that. He
Very
wants to get
hungry.
that 24,
He wants to go
because
to 30. It seems like
30.
it looks like
Yeah,
he just want to leave his name that nobody can compare him to anybody else. It seems like,
yeah, he wants to make put it out of anybody's reach for sure.
reach for
Yeah,
sure, for sure. A great player though. Love him to death,
very good. Yeah,
and
but
I'm really, really happy for him.
yeah, but the tennis, I think it's got some good young players coming up, so it's in good hands. And I think
I
once
think
they're
so too.
finished,
I think so
yeah,
too. I think so too. And it's just unfortunate that Alcaraz didn't play him the way he should have played him by just
yeah,
getting his nerves. But I
yeah,
think the next time they meet, Alcaraz is probably going to be in better shape mentally.
yeah. He was, I think he cramped up and stuff. He said, and he was
Yeah, he said
nervous.
because of nerves. He said he was just
Yeah,
nervous. He started cramping. So
yeah.
it's unfortunate, but yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see. He's definitely one for the books, and Rude is also pretty good. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of them there. Felix from Montreal is also good, but
Montreal, yeah,
yeah, there's a
couple
bunch of them right there that can make it very competitive for
special.
Novak. So interesting times ahead.
And Wimbledon has announced an increase in payments, so the
Yeah,
prize money is up
some
to two,
incentives.
yeah, 2.350 million for for the for the winners, and the
Yeah,
runners will
yeah,
receive 1.175. So
real good money.
they
Real
have
good
good
money.
money for them.
We play a
Okay.
couple hours and it's a couple million, so
Yeah,
it's worth it. It's
yeah,
worth it.
for
Also,
sure.
on the women's side is Swiatek. She earned her
She
third
won.
win.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Petrova pushed her to 3 sets though, which we
mhm,
said
yeah,
at the
she
time that
did.
she wouldn't have done, but she did. But
She did. Yeah,
Swiatek held out to win, and it's going to be interesting to see if she can start a run herself. She has three French and I think one more. I think it's US. But let's
it
see
would
how
be.
she keeps going to see if she's going to become a dominant force as well.
She needs Swiatek than the rest, and she is young.
She's very
So
young. Yeah,
she's
yeah.
very young. So she has a chance of getting up, I mean, equaling records and breaking them.
For sure, she could start
Once
building
she
that little
stays,
empire.
once
Yeah,
she stays healthy, then I
and
think,
focused.
and focused. Yeah, because sometimes when you're just winning all the time, you get no
Yeah,
challenges. You get
you
some, you
lose.
lose focus. Yeah,
Yeah, but she has good challenges. I think Sabalenka keeps her on her toes
Savalek. Yeah,
for sure. And Sabalenka lost. It was a surprise to Muchova, but I think Sabalenka is always going to be up there with her. Coco
I
Gauff,
think
I hope can come on and give
Coco will
some.
come on. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Ons Jabeur, I think once she gets healthy and back
Yes.
with
Yeah.
playing, she will have some competition
Yeah. Competition should be there to keep her busy at least.
for sure. Roger, NBA finals are over. You said it. You said 5 games maximum.
Yes. And it worked out just like I
It
said it.
worked
And you know
out.
what? I don't know, man. I think Denver has the goods. At the
Yeah,
end of
they
the day,
do.
they do have the goods. It's not just Joe Kick and Murray.
And
They
Murray
have a
now.
team, you know. The bench guys stood up. Everybody got up and did what they had to do. Because that last game was brutal. It was 94-89, so it wasn't a high scoring game or anything. And not a lot of big plays in there, but it was just a tough game. And you know what? When you can win games like that, it shows that you're just the tougher team, the better team. And kudos to them. The first time in Denver,
Yeah, the
NBA
first
champion,
time.
NBA
And you
champ.
know, these statisticians are the people who look for data and look for everything. They find everything. And I was just going reading some stuff for the finals and stuff. And one of the things that what I saw was that Butler
Mhm.
never won a game when Shakira is sitting at the sidelines.
Oh
I
my
mean, like,
God!
I'm like, where
Who
did that
came
have
up
to
with
do?
that stat?
I know. That's what I said. Like, why does that have to come into the game?
She's not on the court, so what
Exactly.
is it? He's distracted.
So she's distracted, apparently. That's what they're trying to say. So whenever she sits
Wow.
at the front seats,
These statisticians have nothing to do
yeah,
with it. I mean,
they,
yeah, it's an
they
interesting
just,
stat for sure.
it is.
That is
But
for
yeah,
sure.
but that was a really convincing win. And
Yeah, they were the better team from day one. They came in and it was theirs to lose, and they just did what they had to do. They won when they should have won, and they had the MVP, Joe Kick. So
okay, yeah,
the finals MVP, they were just a better team. And I think the Heat had some injury issues and all of that stuff, but I think at the end of the day, it was too much Butler. They needed other guys to step up the way the Denver guys, bench guys, stepped up.
yeah, for sure. So did you get a chance to host the Stanley Cup? Did you go to LA to celebrate? Las Vegas, sorry, not LA. The
Vegas,
Vegas.
yeah, no. Before we go to the
But
hockey, I
mm,
see here Jordan is finally selling his
oh
majority
yes,
ownership of the Charlotte Hornets, right?
yes,
He had it for
and
13 years, but you know what? He purchased that franchise in 2010 for 275 million.
now
You know what the sale price is now, Ingle?
they said it's worth at least 3 billion. Is it
$3 billion.
3 billion?
So
Yeah,
what type of profit is what? It's like whoa.
that's good business.
Talk about good business.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
he's
So
gonna
yeah,
make some. Yeah,
he's gonna make some real big cash.
that's
With
why
this,
he can build his own golf courses
I
in it.
can
So
do. He can build his
he
own
can do
country. You know
anything.
what? They asked me buy his own country. Well, he can do
Right?
whatever he wants.
Yeah, he can.
And the funny thing is, they said he's not as wealthy as Tiger Woods. But anyway, that's a
Well,
conversation for another time.
yeah,
Like this.
Tiger is back on the Forbes list as a billionaire,
Yeah,
and
there you go.
he's not playing.
Not even playing.
Yeah.
When you can do that, you're the king. And lastly, I just wanted to have a quick talk about this J.A. Morant
Oh,
guy,
John Moran.
John
Yeah.
Morant. So they gave him 25 games, but I don't know. Is that too much, England? I mean,
I
it,
think
it's a lot.
it's a lot. They just probably want to make an example of
They are
him,
making
get
an
him,
example, but he didn't
and
do anything that is.
that is not like I've read. Yeah, a lot of people says, listen, the Second Amendment, I think,
Yeah,
the right to bear arms, but the NBA is saying that they have rules, and he's an influencer. He's a role model to the young people.
Yeah, I get
and
that. I get
I
that.
get that, but that's a lot of games, and
25
I
games. I mean,
I hope this young man can definitely
he
get
needs to
some
grow up.
counseling.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
needs
he
to.
needs some counseling, he needs some help. I mean, you don't need to be driving a car and flashing a gun.
Done. Yeah. I
It's
mean,
the,
the thing that kicks me though is he's there with his friends, and they're the ones putting it on social media.
that's the thing,
His friends are
they
killing him.
and then they tried to take it off, but it's already there.
It was already there. Social
Yeah,
media. Once it's out there, it's very
yeah.
difficult to take it back. So, you
It's got,
know, his friends, both times his friends killed him. So,
sometimes when you get to that level of greatness and stuff, you have to leave some friends behind.
yep, yep.
Yeah,
Because they're no longer friends for good reasons. They have become
no,
friends that cause liabilities.
correct.
And
So
he needs to change. He needs to change his inner core.
yeah, he definitely needs to. I hope he can overcome it. I hope it doesn't send him off the rails and he go the wrong way. But
Yeah, I really hope that's what the key that he doesn't go off. But I think he's saying the right things. He
hmm
seems comfortable with the fine. He's going to do his best to become a better person and all of that stuff. So he's saying what he needs to say. Um, let's see if he can do what he says.
yeah, for sure.
Mhm. You,
And go ahead.
you're going to talk about
Yeah, we're
going
gonna
to
talk about
Vegas.
Vegas.
To go
Yes,
celebrate with the Vegas Golden Knights.
Golden Knights have won.
Yeah, I think I also said this one would have been five as well.
Yeah,
Vegas was just definitely the better team. You could see that. Um, as tough as Florida was, they just didn't have the equipment or the strength to beat the Vegas. And yeah, it's done in game five.
it's done. Yeah, done in five celebrations and everything. And
Yeah.
it was actually a bit more one-sided than I thought it would be.
I,
'Cause-
you know what, I feel, no, I knew Vegas was a better team. I think Florida was just tough, but I think they ran into a team that is very similar to them.
right,
So it's difficult to outmaster them. It's difficult to, as I would put it, out tough them. So I know they would be in trouble. They would be in trouble.
definitely.
I know
So
they're saying, I think a couple of guys from Florida, they said they got beaten up so badly that they're fairly badly injured. Even
oh,
Kachuk.
oh, really?
Yeah, so it's not pretty out there. There are two teams that don't leave anything behind. They just go on the court and leave everything on the ice,
Oh,
and
nice.
they
Yeah,
take you out if they have to take you out.
yeah, for sure. Well, that's a big part of hockey, isn't it? Like a show.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately, it is.
it's
Yeah,
a major
for
part of the
sure.
game. It's
Yeah.
just not good.
With a limited time, Roger, because we started a little bit late, so it's 10:27. We can jump into some cricket, and once there's a couple of things that everybody focuses on, and it's IPL and the Ashes.
Yep.
And the Ashes has started. England has continued their bold way. I mean, they play very aggressive cricket, as we know, and they
Yes.
scored 393 for 8 declared on the first day. A surprise declaration. Joe Root got
Yeah.
his 30th century, and he
Yeah.
showed his class. But that was the biggest surprise to me to see them declare. I guess the idea was to try and get a couple of Australian wickets in the
I
Ashes.
think that was it. It was like an hour left or something, and
Yeah, like
they
yeah,
tried to get a couple wickets. So,
yeah,
I mean, as you said, it's bold. They have a decent score, right? It's not like they had 200 and something. It's almost
correct.
400. So, I mean, it was a decent risk, a calculated risk, I believe.
It's a calculated risk, and it just shows how England play their cricket because
Yeah,
everybody else scored 200 and something, 200 high, maybe sometimes on a day, but England 393, it's
exactly.
almost 400.
And
And
that is before the day is done. They still have
for the
more
days,
time to go.
only 78 overs. Like
Yeah,
Johnny Bairstow hasn't played for 6 months, and he came back and carried on like it just nothing happened.
he didn't miss a
He had a
beat.
freak accident. He was playing golf, and I think he was walking back to the somewhere, and he broke his leg, so he didn't play for 6 months. But he
Wow,
came out and he scored 78 and 78 balls. And
he was cracking.
listening,
Yeah.
yeah, he was. And just listening to the commentary this morning, I think it was Mark Taylor was saying, he said, I want to see that doctor's report. I want to see the X-rays because he
It's too good
says,
to be true.
yeah, he said there's no limp. He's running faster and
Yes.
he's playing just as good. So he
Uh,
says maybe they just gave him 6 months off and said it was a broken leg.
I know because yeah, usually when they come back, you have problems adjusting, your
Yeah,
body and your mind. It's hard to get in sync so quickly, but apparently he did something right.
he
Because
had to.
after a broken foot, you come back, you think about it every time you run on it or you do anything with it. So he didn't do that. He just
No,
came out as if nothing happened. So
and
kudos to him.
we could keep it and doing a good job. He took a
Yeah,
fantastic catch early
catch.
this morning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's playing
So
well.
Australian reply, they're 172 for four, and Kawaja is fighting it out. He's on 78, not out. He's batting pretty well.
Hmm.
And Travis Head, as usual, scored quickly for 15, 63 balls. And
Hmm.
Cameron Green is with with
Kawaja.
Kawaja. He's on 12, not out. And Rajat, a lot of people. The talk though was Moeen Ali was
Hmm.
called back to the Ashes
Surprised.
after his retirement, and
Surprised. I was a bit confused. Do you know why they brought him back?
I think there's an injury to one of their spinners, and I think the main reason I think is Moeen Ali is experience, plus he's also a good batter, so they
He
wanted to
can
have yeah, so they wanted to have the batsman who can actually bowl. He
bowl.
got he's been just if he bowled well this morning. He's gone for a lot of runs because Travis had attacked him,
Yeah.
but he got him in the end, and that's
Okay.
what yeah.
That's what
So
matters, right?
yeah,
Well, and you
yeah,
know what? Sometimes he's done, but he's not quite done. So yeah, give him a shot. If he's willing to go, let him go.
yeah. He
But
said he said he said he received a text from the captain and
okay,
simply just says Ashes question mark. So Ben Stokes texted him and just said Ashes question. So he said yes.
let's do it.
Yeah, it's the Ashes, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
he's been retired for a while, but he's back. So let's
yeah.
see how this
And
test
seems to
match.
be in decent shape enough to come back so quickly and do well.
But
So
he just finished playing the IPL, so he's in relatively good shape.
shape, yeah,
Yeah.
true.
So,
Only a month off.
and yeah, but he's retired from the longer version.
Versions, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The other test match that's going on, Roger, is not going on, it's done now. It was just one sided. I mean, Bangladesh destroyed Afghanistan by 546 runs. When do you hear a team
Yeah,
winning by 546?
I haven't heard that in many, many moons.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
382. 382 for all out, 425 for 4 declared in the second innings. Afghanistan 146 and 115. So no
Wow.
resistance.
Yeah, I don't. Sometimes I wonder how Afghanistan does it, but it's tough for them. But they show up, and they're a very competitive team. They have a couple bowlers,
hmm
and they're tough. And it's sad to say. I mean, they're ranked higher than the West Indies, I think, in terms of I
uh,
think what was it ODIs, I think.
and yeah.
But at the end of the day, um, it's they're not there yet, in my opinion. They're just still an up and coming team, and the established teams, if they get on a run, they're going to give them a hard time.
That's so true. I think, but they play most of their cricket in
UAE?
India.
Oh, India. Okay.
Yeah, they did a lot of training in India. So
Okay.
they and a lot of their players are now on the T20 circuit and ODI,
Yes,
and I
they're
think
coming.
that's more the thing.
Yeah, for them.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. They're competitive there, but I mean, for tests, maybe not.
And they were without Rashid Khan. He's
Rashid.
not. Yeah, he didn't play.
Ah, okay. So he's their bowler, right? So if he's not
He's
out
the
there,
bowler.
then
Yeah,
yeah,
he
they're in
didn't play.
trouble. They rely on
Uh,
him a lot,
he
heavily.
just finished the T20 IPL, and he's
Tired.
probably. I wouldn't be surprised if he retires from the longer format and just stick to T20,
Yeah.
as many of them are doing.
Exactly. You make a lot more money there, and you spend a
Yeah,
lot less time. So
for sure. Quickly to get through the World Test Championship, one-sided, all Australia last week.
yeah, I don't know. You expected more from India?
I was expecting a little better resistance in the second innings,
Yeah, I think
but guy,
Kohli tried, but yeah,
yeah,
it wasn't happening.
no, it wasn't happening. And now you're hearing talk of Dravid going to be um, kicked after the World Cup. He's going to be fired.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the discussion going on now that he
Wow,
will. That's his last stint will be the World Cup,
wow,
and
interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens actually,
Yeah,
because England don't. I mean, India don't keep their coaches long.
Yeah, they don't play around. They have very little
Yeah,
tolerance.
they
So
have a lot of options, and they're gonna.
you go
They even
there, win,
talking.
and they
Yeah,
keep you. If you don't win, then you're gone. They have many, as you said, there's so many more waiting.
and they talk also about how uninspiring Rohit Sharma was, and that they're gonna probably look into maybe ask Kohli to take back the
Take it back.
captaincy. Yeah,
That's
so
me. I don't know. He still has their respect. So I don't know if you want to take it back,
I don't know if you'd
but
want to do that as well. And
India.
the
So
the
priority
other
to this.
option is Ajinta Rahana. He might be another option as well. They said, but it will be anybody's guess if they do.
Yeah, let's see what they decide to do. But it's a very rich country when it comes to this game, so they can make mistakes and get away with it. They can call on like 50 different people to show up and they'll be okay. So I think
Okay.
whatever they decide to do, they'll be okay, but maybe not the best. So they have to think carefully what they're doing to get the best combination. And I think
Hmm.
that's what they're trying to do. It's just that they change it so often that what is the best combination if you're changing it so often?
Yeah, it's too often, and also India India players played for nothing in a sense because they were all fined 100% of their match fees
Really?
from for slow over rates. So everyone
how,
was they played the match and they
how did
had
he find somebody 100%? I don't get that.
oh I get it had to be very slow. Yeah, because
Wow.
it goes in stages. Like if you're a cup say up to 10 overs behind, it's so much. So I think it happened a few times. But
Wow.
so they were fined 100% of their match fees. So
That's a
wow,
lot of money you're talking about here.
yeah,
Wow.
it's
That's an interesting way to penalize, well, slow bowling rates. But man,
yeah, it's a
that's,
match fees. Yeah,
that's a lot.
that's the way. It is tough for the players, but they said that will help speed
Well,
up
it's,
the game.
yeah, they want to speed up the game. They want people there enjoying it. They want the television. So they don't want it to be a slow game. But man, 100%. That's everything.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of Australia didn't get off lightly either, so maybe ICC said we're not paying money for this one because I think Australia also fined 80% of their match fees.
Really.
Yeah,
So you're telling me this big, massive final for Test cricket, and 180% of the 200% goes to the
I see.
organizer?
Yeah. And on top of that, Shugman Gill
Uh-huh.
was fined a further 15%. So he was fined 115% of his match fee. So he took out of his pocket
Oh my
for
word!
for publicly criticizing the umpires. I don't know if you saw the questionable catch that he was given out.
Oh
It,
yeah, I don't think he was out, but
I
anyway,
think so. Yeah, he was fined 115%. So
imagine you go all the way to the
wow.
Test finals and you have to pay to go there.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. And you're the person who's playing to
You're the one that's
entertain.
playing. You're the entertainer. You're the one bringing the crowd in because you're the star, actually. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
don't know. There's
I
something wrong
think
with that logic.
yeah, 100% is really too much in my opinion.
Yeah, way too much. Way too
Yeah.
much.
Quickly, news and notes in cricket. We know tomorrow the World Cup qualifiers get on the go, and every time I have to talk about that, I don't know how I feel really because to see West Indies playing in this, but they play USA of all teams tomorrow morning,
Tomorrow morning.
3 a.m. while Zimbabwe plays Nepal. So those are the first two games. And in quick news and notes, Cricket West Indies has announced a match schedule for and venues for the highly anticipated West Indies versus India men's series in July and August. So the matches will be played in Dominica, the test matches. The second test match at Queen's Park, the first in Dominica, the second in Queen's Park Oval, Trinidad.
Hmm.
And then they move on to Guyana for some T20s, and they have ODIs as well in St. Lucia, Darren Simon Stadium, and then the final two matches will be played in Florida. That's
Oh, okay.
just something they've been trying, but hasn't really caught on as well yet in Florida.
Yeah, no, a buddy of mine is one of those guys that has been pushing the cricket over there, and
Hmm.
it will get there. It's
It
taking a
will.
little longer than I thought, but I mean, it will get there. They're trying hard though. They're putting a
I
lot
think
into
if it was a place like New York, it would be packed, but Florida is a little. Yeah, and there's a lot of restrictions at that stadium too, so
Yeah,
maybe that's
yeah.
one. And finally, West Indies has named an 18-member squad for the women's squad to begin training for a series against Ireland that takes place in St. Lucia. The training camp in St. Lucia is from 14th to the 21st, and then the series will start from the 26th June to the 1st of July.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
but I'm not sure how this is going to go because I was hearing today about some tropical storm heading in that direction. So
Really?
yeah, it's early, but they started.
Wow. I mean, oh, yeah, that's early.
It is.
Hopefully we can avoid it.
The hurricane season starts June 1st, so yeah, it's early, but
It
yeah,
started, but usually, yeah, you don't feel it really get one until further down. But
until further
it's
down, yeah,
possible. So I guess we're getting what is possible.
for sure. That's it for mid cricket, Roger, and I'm sure you have a lot to talk about in track and field,
Yeah, a lot going on in track
and
and
a
field
lot.
as always.
And I'm waiting for July 6th, is it?
as you
My
and many people.
fingers and toes and everything crossed.
Because let's see if she actually shows up. But
Yeah.
this week in Oslo, it was Thursday, Canada's Sarah Mitten. She won the shot put. So, she has been struggling. She won the Commonwealth Games, and a lot was expected of her here from the Canadian point of view. But she showed up at Oslo Diamond League and she won. So, kudos to her. Her compatriot, the Olympic champion, Mr. Andre de Grasse, he still seems to be struggling to hit top form. I think his coach is saying they're okay with how he's performing and they think he's coming up fine. But he was only fifth,
Right.
right? Running 20.3, which was a season's best in a race won by 19-year-old Arian Knighton, who won in 19.77, actually breaking Usain Bolt's meet record of
Hmm.
19.79. So this young kid, I think he has wiped off pretty much every single one of Bolt's record, except the big one,
The
so the
big,
world
yeah.
record. So let's see how far we can go. But yeah, impressive win by him. Um, as I said, Andre was nowhere close, and hopefully Andre knows when to show up. So I'll give him credit for that. He knows when to show up. So let's see how he does later on in the year. But in the meantime, I mean, it's in Norway, and they had two Norwegians in there, and it was stadium full. Crowd was rocking because Karsten Warholm, 400-meter hurdles world record holder, he was
Hmm.
back. He was injured last year. He's back, Ingle. When I say he's
Yes.
back,
Right.
he's back. He
Yeah.
clocked the fourth fastest 400-meter hurdles time in history
In history, yeah.
as he won in 46.52. So fascinating to see him go. He was just going and going and going, and I think he will go faster. So that 45.9 that he ran is not a fluke. I think he can get back there, which would be
Hmm.
very, very interesting to see if he does that. And the other big Norwegian there is Jakob Ingebrigtsen, and he was just awesome again, running that 1500
Good
meters.
thing.
So he broke the record, area record, of course, record for his country and all of that stuff. He ran 3 minutes 27.95, a personal best for him. So he's young, he's going faster and faster, but he still has to get to that 326 world record, which I thought he would have been closer to by now, but he's pegging away at it. So I don't know if he'll be able to do it next year, but he's heading in that direction. But that record, I think, would be really, really good if that could go down. It's been there for a long time. Hikam El Garouj, a long, long time now, 20 years. Let's see if he can break it. But he was looking good, definitely looking good in that race. But a shocker for many from the Caribbean and fans of Sharika Jackson. She was only third
Yeah.
in the
Was,
100 meters. So
yeah.
it was like, what is good? Did you watch that race?
I saw it this morning for the first time, actually. I
She
didn't.
was just not there.
She's not. Yeah, she was not. There was not Shriek. I mean, don't take anything from Talu, but
No, no, and Talu and were leads. So it wasn't a joke race at all.
right.
10.75 to win for Talu. But
But
when Anthony Strawn, who is Sharika Jackson's training partner, she has never beaten her yet, and she comes
mhm,
here to beat her in the Diamond League, 10.92 versus 10.98. It's like, okay, maybe something's not right with Sharika. Maybe just not
maybe.
her day. But it was a good race. Anthony Strawn from Bahamas second, 10.92. Jackson was third, 1098. You had the Brits right there.
Dina.
Dean Asher Smith and
Uh,
Daryl Nita, they were both there. 1098 as well. So it was a close race
hmm.
behind the runaway winner, Talu. She was a step ahead of them, 1075, looking really good for 34. So
Yeah, she looks. It's like she's. I was wondering what's happening because people like her, Shelley, they seem to be getting better as they age.
as they age, so let's see if we can find a young one to come break it up.
Mm.
Maybe check Harvey Richardson. Let's see. We'll see if she can do it. We'll find out maybe what she's up to next week. We also saw Femke Ball, who's making a big statement over the 400-meter hurdles as well. And she ran a meet record and we're leading 52:30 to win that race. And she was very, very, very impressive. I know she wants to go after Sydney McLaughlin's record, and she's working her way down. She changed her stride pattern. I think she's stuck at 14 now, and she's getting adjusted to that. So the feeling is she's going to go under 52. She's going to go into 51. Let's see how low she can go there. But a very, very strong athlete, tall, lanky, very good sprinter now. She's running 22s, 49 lows indoors in the 400. So she has everything that is required. So let's see how competitive she's going to be as the season goes on. And maybe she's going to be a closer number two. Let's see what happens.
Mm.
On the track, though, we saw my boy Wade Van Niekerk from South Africa, the world record holder.
Oh, he's just
He's
great.
yeah, he's running back into form.
Back,
He got
yeah.
that major knee injury 5 years ago, and he seems to be fully back now. And he won the 400 looking good in 44.38, looking really, really good, beating the former world leader Mzali Samakonga from Zambia, who did 44.49. So a very nice race. I like how Van Niekerk is looking these days, very relaxed, and I think he's going to do something special this year.
Hmm. I think he is. Yeah. I saw his race and I just thought he was just looking comfortable and back to when I saw him a few years ago with the Olympics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how he's looking, which is scary. But yeah, I met him in Oregon, got a picture with him. So he's yeah, I really like that guy.
Mm.
We also saw a young lady, 17-year-old, Berka Halon. She won the mile in 4:17:13. So breaking all junior records and all of that type of stuff. So the young kids are coming up. Maybe that's not in the hundreds, but for sure
Mm.
in the long
The
distance
longer
races,
distance, yeah.
they're looking really, really good. Talking about the young kids, back in Jamaica, they had the J3's all comers meet. And in the 100 meters for men and boys, it was the kids, the high schoolers. So the 100 meters for men was won by Brian Lavelle, who was the favorite going into boys' champs before he got injured. And Boaji and Kumi won that race. He won the 100 last week in 10:21. And DeAndre Daly, who was second behind Boaji and Kumi, he ran 10:23 to win the under 20 race. So these two high schoolers, so that race is the race that everybody wanted to see at champs, right? Daly versus Lavelle versus Boaji. Lavelle didn't make it because he was injured, and Daly got comprehensively beaten. But those three kids are going to be, look out for their names in the near future. Coming up, coming up, coming up. On the women's side, Brianna Williams, she moved back to Jamaica. She has not been doing what many expected her to do. She had
No.
some injuries. She's running consistently now. She's back again. She ran 11:21. Last week it was 11:20. So she's in and around the same times, but she was third again. This time beaten by Janelle Smith, who seems to be coming back to form. She's training with MVP with Stephen Francis, and she ran 11.13. And Natasha Morrison was second, 11.18. So a close race, 11.13, 11.18, 11.21. But Brianna Williams, that's so much is expected of, just not on top.
She's not, yeah. I'm surprised actually. I expected when she went to Jamaica that her times would start getting better.
Yeah,
But just something's not right.
you know what? It's I think two things. She has to adjust to new coaching, and she has to adjust to a new country that she's living in. She was
Okay.
born in Florida, so she's her mom is Jamaican and she represents Jamaica, but she hasn't lived in Jamaica until now. And
Okay, so
rumors are she's struggling to adjust to certain things.
new surroundings, new life.
Yeah, yeah. So let's see how she comes on. But I think she's settling in now, and I know her coach really well. So look out for her at the trials. She's gonna pop something really big there. But she's getting the confidence that I'm looking out for. Trials
Hmm.
is 3 weeks away. Let's see what she does then. But I expect her to go 10-9, 10-8 at trials. And in the NCAA last weekend, it was the females to finish up on a Saturday, and of course, Miss St. Lucia herself, Julian Alfred. It was her
Yeah,
birthday, and she made use of her birthday and getting birthday cake. She won the 100, and she won the 200, and she won the 4x1.
yeah.
Um, Unfortunately, the 100 and 200 were win assisted, so her 10-7
Mm-hmm.
didn't count, and her 1973 didn't count. So it's sad to see that she didn't get a legitimate time, but she was very impressive winning all of that. And she, of course, she's SEC's female track athlete of the year. Nobody can
Right.
compare with her. And they're saying she's looking for a big contract, Ingle.
Yeah, she's going pro, right? She's just,
She's going pro. They said it's going to be
she's,
announced next week.
I'm sure she'll get a big contract because
She deserves it, man.
she deserves it. Yeah.
For sure, for
So
sure.
hope her agents are working well and making sure she gets what's best for
Yeah,
her.
she hasn't announced the agent yet, so let's see who gets the agent and then what
Oh, so
contract.
you're still in line then?
Let's see.
Yeah.
But we also saw the young guy, Jaden Hibbert. He has won all pretty much every award. He's a freshman, and he won South Central Field Athlete of the Year. And yeah, he's just been dominating the triple jump. He's the world leader right now, and he's only
Mhm.
18. So let's see if he can go on and do something at World Championships. He had a cramp at the NCAA's. He said it's nothing; it was just a cramp. So I think he's being prepped to do something really, really big. And it's also going to be interesting to see with all of his performances. He's only 18, but is he going to go pro as well? So that's also going to be a big question if he does that. But for now, I think he's trusting his coach, who is the coach of Arkansas. So let's see
Okay.
if he remains with that. And the third one that won on the water, Keela Smith, also from Jamaica. She won the long jump, and she's also the world leader in long jump, and she was second in the triple jump. So yeah, she did also very well from athlete from Jamaica there. So young kid, 21. She made both finals at the World Championships last year in Oregon, and she seems like she's in spot to do it again. So looking good, looking good. The final day was pretty interesting. I think one of the big things for me was Britton Wilson tried to do the 400 meter hurdles double. They're 25 minutes apart. She lost the 400 meters, and she came seventh in the 400-meter hurdles 20 minutes later. So I don't know if it was a. I mean, she wanted to do it, so I'll give her credit for that. She's gone pro, so yeah, and I'm sure she's going to do really well. But I think trying that double was just too difficult. And
To the count.
yeah, she may have the NCAA records, but yeah, she just can't do the double. In some news and notes, as mentioned before, Mommy Rocket or Shelly and Fraser Price, she's ready to
Yeah,
launch. Ready
she's
to
ready to
launch.
go. Yeah.
And she said her season opener is going to be at the Jamaica National Championships, July 6th to 9th at the National Stadium in Jamaica. So it's going to be interesting to see if she shows up and what shape she's going to be in. It's a weird place to open up. Usually you get a warm up before you go to the championships, but she's already qualified for Worlds, so she doesn't truly have to race. So she's just using this as training. Let's see how well she does. But of course, you and many others are just anxiously
Just
awaiting
sitting
to see.
waiting for her. Yeah, actually wondered why she was doing that, but then after she
Yeah,
just said she already qualified for Worlds, and I
yeah,
figured
so
that's
she,
why.
she doesn't need to do anything until Worlds. So she got away. Let's see. If, I don't know if she was injured. They said she had a knee injury, so they were waiting on that. So she put her time. Let's see if she shows up and does something special. Still looking for Elaine. No one has seen Elaine either, which is
Elaine
a
is
big thing for
quiet. Yeah.
me. She's past quiet now. I think she's in hiding, but hopefully she shows up. I love her, so I want to see her do well, and I really hope she gets a chance to do that this year. In some other news, sad news, Harvey Glance, he was a former sprinter for the USA, former
Hmm.
Olympic gold medalist, and he was the coach of Kirani James. And he passed away during the week here. He was
Oh wow,
66
sad.
years old. Very, very sad. Condolences to him and his family. I think the tough part for me with this one, Ingle, was, and I don't know, I mean, I've met Kirani and I had conversations with him, but I don't know how he's going to handle this because they were at training. He still coaches Kirani.
Hmm.
And Kirani warmed up and came back to him to say, okay, he's going to be ready now to run his program. And he got no response.
Oh wow, that is devastating.
It's devastated. So he was at the, Harvey Glance was at the track doing the program with Kirani James that morning when he passed away. So it's tough for anybody at the track that day.
But
And it's tough for
Quran,
Kirani to be the one that actually realized that he was not responsive. So I hope Kirani is okay as well. because that's
Yes.
not an easy thing to go through at all. And yeah, finally, I think Alison Felix is talking about we need better maternity care for Black women as the USA won the 4x100 meter relays at the Rio Olympics, and three of those four people have tried to have kids, and Allison nearly died. She was had a
Mm-hmm.
premature. Tiana Madison almost died. She was also premature, and now Tori Bowie.
Sorry,
She
Paul.
actually died, child birth complications. So something
Yeah.
needs to be looked at. That's a very very sad stats. So let's see.
It is a very sad stat, and something definitely because so many, so often you hear of athletes not getting enough treatment and stuff, and but the black ones seem to suffer more.
More. That's
Yeah,
I think Allison's point, right? So
yeah,
something needs to be done. Something needs to be
much
looked at here.
so, and yeah,
And these are superstars, so you can imagine the regular people.
they are superstars.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's quickly switch over to football. I guess we have a couple more minutes.
We've got 5 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah. So Manchester City, as we talked about last week, Ingle,
three.
they got the trouble.
Yeah, they did.
Congratulations to Man
They got the
City.
trouble.
It's
Congrats. Yeah,
big for them. Their first Champions League title. Kudos to them. I mean, kudos to them. I think Inter had a few chances to tie the game and do stuff, but they just never did it.
yeah.
So
It was a good win for them. Yeah, definitely. Inter could have won, as you said, but
yeah,
yeah,
champions win.
champions.
Pretenders
Yeah,
pretenders come and make noise and don't win. So kudos to them. Pep is now the man.
yeah.
Can't say much
Sure.
about Pep anymore. Also, from a Canadian point of view, they reached the final of the CONCACAF Nations League, which is just awesome to see. So the Canadian men are looking for their first trophy in 23 years. It's been a while since Canada's won any soccer
Didn't win
trophy.
anything. Yeah.
So they're going to play defending champion the USA, who always finds a way to beat them.
Oh, they beat Mexico.
Yes.
Wow.
So let's see what happens next. But Canada won 2-0. The Stars, Alfonso Davies scored,
Mm-hmm.
as well as David scored as well. So good striking. I mean, Canada's a solid team. So I think they have a good shot here.
Yeah, that for sure they do. And you didn't. There's a couple other things you want to mention before we go.
Yeah, so my boy, French superstar, Kylian Mbappe, he has come out and he has told PSG he has 1 year on his contract and he's not staying for more than a
It's
year,
not staying.
which kills me because now they know if he stays a year and go, they get nothing. So they're gonna have to trade him.
And yeah, they're looking to trade him. Yeah,
It's gonna be
because
interesting to see exactly where he goes and what happens here. Because this is a big deal. It's a huge deal because he was. A lot of people felt he would have gone to Real Madrid, but then
mm-hmm.
Real Madrid went out and they signed young Jude Bellingham.
Jude Bellingham. Yeah,
And they paid. They said it could add up is like $103 million that they said could get to $130 million for 19-year-old Ingle, 19. So he's a big baller. Don't get me wrong. He was
no,
fantastic
he was
World Cup,
fantastic in the World Cup. Yeah, yeah.
but 130 million at 19. I don't know. Anyway, he seems pumped. He's gone there. He's changed his jersey number now. He's going to wear number 5, like
Yeah.
Zinedine Zidane. So he says he's going to be inspired by Zidane's number. So let's see what he does for Real Madrid. But it makes it complicated to see if after signing somebody like him, where are they going to find money to sign Mbappe? So where would Mbappe go? So it's,
You'll find somewhere when the time is right.
yeah, I know, which is going to be sooner than later. So
Yeah.
interesting times for soccer. A lot of money is being spent in soccer. You saw they offered Messi what 400 or something million
From
or 500
million,
million
yeah,
or something. So a lot of money is in soccer.
a
So
lot.
maybe it's a place to be.
Yeah. Well, with that, we've come to the end. It's 10:58. We've come to the end of another hour. It's the England Roger Sports Hour on Love Bay Afro Beats
Beats.
Music Talk Radio. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, the rest of your day. Whatever you do, be good and stay safe.
Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Take care.